All right, we are back. No idea what happened over there. I'm gonna adjust the time though to hour and 90 for, let me see, hour and a half. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Not sure what happened there. That was totally weird, but we're back. Things happen. Things happen. Internet said it got disconnected, but the internet was perfectly fine. Was still streaming on other platforms. We're here. We are here. Let me see. Where did we leave off? I am not gonna read that long question again. Yakar says the internet couldn't handle the hot fire you were spitting. I spit hot fire, Yakar. I spit hot fire. All right. But we were on question number 2, and I'm gonna pick up from where I left off. But I'm probably gonna merge the 2 videos together and do something. All right. We'll do something. I'll figure it out. But welcome back. I'm Tech Coach Ralph. We're Engineer to Win. When we got rudely interrupted by the internet or YouTube or the software getting cut off, we were talking about somebody who asked a question, who said they missed a defect and they didn't know how to handle that. And I think I was basically wrapping up with that question, but I was saying that I don't even know what I was saying at this point. I was pretty much saying that mistakes are going to happen. You can't blame yourself, yada, yada, yada. And I'll probably pick up on this question next time because I don't remember where we left off. So with that being said, we're gonna move on to the next question. I missed some amazing comments that your car had as well, which is, I'm very unhappy about that as well. So figure that out. Yeah. Anyways, let's move on. The call-in link is still open. If anyone has a question, we will go from there. But for the time being, let's move on to the next question and we will see how that goes. All right? Let's get to it. Do that. All right. Next question. So, let's do
another one.
So this next question asks about API automation testing versus UI automation testing. All right. So it says, I'm currently learning automated testing to enhance my skills, and I've come across a question. In a professional context for a project, which tests should be automated at the API level, for example, via Postman? I would not recommend using Postman to do automation testing, but okay. Versus at the UI level, for example, tools like Playwright or Cypress or Selenium, things like that, of that nature, right? I'm currently testing a basic e-commerce website with functionalities like adding an item to the cart, payments, and search filters. All these features can be tested via API. What then is the purpose of end-to-end testing through the user interface in which scenarios should be used, all right? So that is an amazing question. That is a common question that we have in the QA space. I'm going to start our timer on that one. All right. So the way that you break down, right, for the API, which like I said, I don't recommend that you have the API automated test in Postman. Write them in code. If you're going to be using Playwright, or if you're going to be using Playwright or Cypress for your UI test, I would say probably use Super Test for your API test. Just keep it in the same project. That way, if you need to stage some data for your UI test, you can do that in the same way, right? But any test that can be tested via the API, then you should test it via the API, and that way you can have a multitude of variations of the test. So let's say you can test the add to cart via the API, right? So you're going to be testing. You can send 100 different variations of adding to cart, maybe with multiple products, maybe removing a product from the cart. So many different ways you can do it. The reason that you want to do that via the API is because you're going to be testing the business logic. All the business logic should be testable through the API, and you're going to do all of that, and you're going to make sure that all of that functionality is working. Then once you make sure that every single variation is working via the API, then you're going to be using end-to-end test tools like Playwright, Cypress, Selenium to simulate a customer experience. The customer is not going to be using the API to make their purchase. So as a QA engineer, you're not only responsible for the functionality and the business logic, such as the API is working correctly because the UI uses the API application programming interface, right? And the UI is a user interface. You don't only use the API as a consumer. You don't use it at all. You use the UI. So your end-to-end test needs to simulate what a user would do. So that's why I say that you don't have as many UI tests, but for me on the UI test, you're going to have the core functionalities, right? You're going to say, all right, so I'm going to start at the homepage and I'm going to go, if I'm testing e-commerce, this is how I test e-commerce, and Alexis will back me up on this, right? You're going to go on the homepage. You're going to say, all right, I am going to click on a product category. Let's say you're selling women's clothes, right? That's the e-commerce site. You click on women's, you click on something, the most popular category that the women normally click on. So let's say it's new arrivals or on sale, whatever. You click on that, and then you choose a product from there, and now you add that product to the cart. And if there's any attributes like size or color, you choose that, you add it to the cart, you make sure it adds to the cart. That's the only test you're doing there. And now you proceed to checkout. You're going to log in, or from there you have three variations. You could do checkout as a guest. You can check out as a new customer. You can check out as an existing customer, right? You're going to choose one of those, and you're going to go all the way as far as you can. If you're doing it in a dev environment, then you're going to go all the way till you get the confirmation page. Like you're checking it out all the way to the confirmation page. Next up, you're going to do another test. This time, you're going to do a search. Like, so you type in, scarves or something. And now you get the search results, and you're going to click on one of those products. And now you're going to configure that product. You add it to the cart, and maybe you'll update the cart to say, I want 2 of these items. And then you'll go, and this time, if the first time you checked out as a new customer, the second time you're going to check out as an existing customer, or vice versa. And then you're going to do another test where let's say you're clicking on a product from the homepage, a popular product from the homepage. So you click on that, and then you go in, and whatever that third way of checkout that you didn't do yet, you're going to do it that way. Those are the end-to-end tests that I would do to simulate the user experience. And I would probably add into creating an account. So those are my first 3 tests, right? Checkout, that's the most important thing on an e-commerce site. The next thing I would do is creating an account and logging in. Those would be my core UI test. And then you can always add some more around that. But whatever can be done through the API, I'm going to do it through the API. And then, because I'm testing my business logic, right? Business logic, always one of the most important, that's the most important thing you have to test, the business logic. But then on the UI, because the API means nothing if the users can't actually use the site, right? So then you're going to have a series of, however many tests it takes to get that done, but it's going to be a lot less than it's going to be for the API. All right. So that's how you break down which test you're going to have API automation, the majority, versus which test you're going to have UI automation, your end-to-end test that's going to simulate user experience. All right. Back in the days, there was a lot of UI tests, not many API tests at all. Now the times have changed. It's mostly API tests and a few UI tests, because those are slow, those are flaky, those are not as reliable as your API tests. All right. So that is that. Hopefully that helps. Let's wrap that one up. Alrighty then. Let's see where we're at. Let me see. Your car was like, where are you at? Where are you at? The internet couldn't handle the hot fire. Oh, let me get this off the screen. Boom. The internet could not handle the hot fire, and the live stream is back. And let's see, Magnetar is back as well. Welcome back, Magnetar. Shout out to you. And Nini Stone, welcome Nini Stone. How are you doing tonight? It says, I'm getting into QA. I'm getting into QA. I took a course on manual, but it seems jobs want automation. Yes, jobs want automation. And it says, which language should I learn, Python or Java? Oh, that is such a tough question to ask. You know what? I'm gonna turn this into a question because that is the age-old question, right? I'm gonna turn that into a question. Let's do this. I'm gonna do this. So let's do this.
Another one.
So this question from Nini Stone. I'm getting into QA. I took a course on manual, but it seems jobs want automation. Which language should I learn, Python or Java? All right, gonna start the timer on this one. So I'm gonna give you two answers, right? So Python is a lot easier to learn, a lot quicker to learn. Java is massive and it is very, very strict on its syntax. You can miss a semicolon in Java and the whole thing says, nope, it's not happening. So while Java is probably the better one to learn, it's also going to be more difficult and take a lot longer to learn. Python, on the other hand, is it's very loose and it'll be a lot faster to get into it, but the demand for Java is higher, although there's still a strong demand for Python. I think that if you were to go with Python first, you're going to learn how to code. If you don't know how to code yet, you're going to learn how to code a lot faster. And then you would be able to scale up to Java. But if you were able to learn Java fairly quickly and learn at least learn how to do Selenium with Java, or automation in general with Java, then it does make you a little bit more marketable because I think that Java and Selenium is still like the cream of the crop. So that's the tough part about making that decision. When I am onboarding somebody that I'm coaching, I normally have them start off with Python just because of how fast you can actually start coding with Python versus when you have to start coding when you're learning to code with Java, there is so many setup steps that like you have to install like a JDK, things that don't have anything to do with actually writing the code and automation that you have to figure out and learn for Java. You don't have that barrier to entry with Python and some other languages, right? So to not scare people, that's why and like not have them run frantically away. That's why I normally say, all right, start with Python, get into it, get your feet wet, and then you can start going into more languages from there. What did I have that video? Was that today's video? I had a video. It might have been yesterday, but I had a video about like someone who had a PhD but they couldn't figure out lead code. And tomorrow's video is going to be about tips and tricks that I use to learn how to code. And in that video, I am using Python as an example. So yeah, like I said, if one thing you could try, right? You could try like looking into Java because you're gonna have to learn it anyways, right? I don't think people should only learn one language. Which one to start off with? If there was a gun held to my head, I'd say start with Python. Maybe 2 years ago I would have said Java, but start with Python. It's gonna be a lot easier to learn. But when it comes to the long run, then you want to learn Java, as Yakar was saying before the other stream got cut off. Java is where the money is at, and there's a lot you can do with Java. So it's a tough question for me because the first language that I learned outside of HTML, CSS was my first programming language was Java. So I I have a deep affinity for Java, but when it comes to ease, when it comes to being comfortable, when it comes to not being scared and not being stuck on trying to install the Java JDK and which one to install and where to install it and configuring your what do you call it, like your paths, and so much extra setup that is super annoying, that comes when setting up Java, that I would say save yourself the headache. Go with Python and get started. Write some amazing code, and then start to venture out into more complex languages. In the video for tomorrow, I'm gonna have a link to a Udemy course, the Udemy course that I used to learn Python, and I think that that would be very helpful to you as well. So it's a tough question for me to answer. I really I don't like answering that question because Java to me is the better language, but Python is the faster to learn language to get you coding right away and get you more comfortable and get your feet wet. So hopefully that helps. Hopefully that gives you a sense of direction. But if you have any additional questions about it, please let me know and I will make sure to get it addressed. All right, let's wrap that question up. All right, let me see what else we got in the chat. Great question, by the way. Great question. Let me see. We got my guy Telltale Woke in the building. We are going to have a conversation later. I can't wait to get started. We have big things to do. We got my guy Rod Brown in the building. Rod Brown, I am looking forward to 2025. Big things are going to be happening in 2025.
Let's get it.
And Nene Stone says, got it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you answering. It is my pleasure to answer your question. And we got my best friend in the building. Mitch says, nobody's done it quite like I did it. And Mitch, your friend is back on her phone, but she's back. She is back. All right, let me see. All right, next question. Let's get to our next question. Do me a favor though. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification so you know every time we go live and drop new content. All right, let's move on to our next question of the night.
Another one.
Toxic workplace advice. So this person needs advice on a toxic workplace. So I work in a hospital and we've got a new manager who's trying to make major changes. I've worked here about 8 months, but now I've done this type of job for 6 years. The other day I was threatened getting fired for not my work ethic, but for my attitude and sass with some workers they sent home, and I came back the next day, but now I'm getting watched like every move I make. They know, and if I do anything even as small as leave 10 minutes early on a very slow night, my butt gets chewed. That sounds disgusting. All right. To add to that, they give me a huge workload compared to others and say we need to learn to be reliable workers, but don't realize some employees are doing so much work, like me, this person writing the question, than others, and they don't care. It's got to the point where I've lost all motivation to do my job, something I've done for so long. And every day I go in and I get depressed and sad that sometimes I have a mental breakdown on my lunch. All right. Hold up. Is everyone having a mental breakdown at work nowadays? Is it me? Is everyone having a mental breakdown at work? Like during lunch, you go to your car and you cry in the car, like, "Oh my God, I can't do this," and then you have to like wipe your face and go back into the hospital and get back at it. And you have sass while you're having this mental breakdown. Oh, my goodness. All right. Anyways, and a bad attitude. Right. So, What does one do in this type of environment? I've applied to so many other places, but right now the job market isn't the best where I'm located. I'm swallowing my pride and sucking it up and biting my tongue and working this job till something new comes, but it's hard out here. Any advice on how to get through a job like this? So let's start our clock on this one. All right. Well, I'm pretty sure that people, my friends in the chat, are going to disagree with me on this, but I think that we need to stop making enemies at work and everywhere else. Stop making enemies and start making alliances and accomplices. Maybe accomplice is not the good word, not a good word to use, right? But we need to start working together to see, like, all right, if they don't want you to leave 10 minutes early, then maybe you shouldn't leave 10 minutes early. All right. I think that part is an easy fix. Like, how do we justify leaving early? If they want you to be there till a particular time, then be there till a particular. I think that's a small fix. That's a small thing to fix, right? But I honestly believe that most people have is it a predisposition? But whatever the word is, right? They have a negative disposition when it comes to work and when it comes to coworkers. Like, I remember back in the days, right? People would it's just ingrained in us to hate Mondays because we have to go to work and to love Fridays because work is over. And I just think that having that mindset makes it tough on us, and then that leads to that depression and all that toxic. Like, we probably bring on most of the toxicity that we face. So that's why I'm like, all right, what if we just take the attitude of, okay, how can we work together versus let's be confrontational, let's be adversaries. What is that saying? Like, you'll gather more flies with honey instead of vinegar, something like that. Why flies? I don't know. But I like, it's just my mindset of like, I personally am always looking to, okay, how can we solve a problem instead of how can we be fighting each other? Working together, and I say, all right, so you say it's toxic. All right, so if they're telling you, your attitude sucks, you're sassy, or you have sass, maybe sassy is not the right word, but you have sass, and you're like, well, I'm gonna go cry in the car instead of like, okay, well, how can we fix this? How can I not be afraid? Like, how can I? Because you already can't find a job, right? And now you feel like you're biting your tongue. So I don't know. Am I off on this? Like, do we have to be fighting? And I believe, right? I might be crazy about this belief. Some people think I'm crazy, but I might believe, like, I believe that if we were to approach it with kindness and working together, then the huge workload is going to be, they're going to try to spread it out. And I don't know. I could be naive. And I honestly don't know how it works in the hospital like that, to be honest with you. But I just think in any situation, in any environment that you're in, right? Not having a negative attitude, not looking to fight, not looking to not biting your tongue and not saying what you want to say, because biting your tongue, working at a job unhappily until something new comes along, all that leads to that all leads to depression and mental breakdowns and all that type of stuff, right? Swallowing your pride. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe I think that maybe in all my experience of working with people, I've always found that being a team player, trying to solve problems instead of creating problems, has always led to better results for me and my development and my growth, and to moving up in the ranks and giving more responsibility instead of just saying, you know what, I'm gonna fight the system. I don't know. Most people, like, I know people love people who go against the grain and fight the system, but I'm pretty sure that 99% of people who actually do fight the system, they get crushed by the system, and then they look at the 1% who might dodge it for a bit, and they celebrate that 1%, but the other 99% who got crushed, what happens to them? Does anybody care about them? Apparently not. Apparently not. So I say let's work with the system and figure out a way forward instead of being miserable and crying in our cars during our lunch break. That's my thought. That is my thought. You guys let me know. I could be off on this one, but I don't think so. I don't think so. All right, let's wrap that question up. Let me see. So Magnetar had said that, where is it? Let me get that off the screen. Magnetar says, is this a regular hospital or the VA hospital? That's a good question. And Roxy says, play nice to get along. I think you have much more success when you look to work with people instead of when you are looking to fight with people, especially at work. Like, why do we want to fight with the people that we have to, like, we spend most of our time we spend with people that we work with, right? By the time you get home from work, if you have to go into the office, you're probably spending like between the time you spend with your family and the time and sleep and all that stuff, you spend way more time with the people that you work with than the people that you live with. So why do you want to have to fight? Like, you can have conversations that try to achieve a goal and you stand your ground and stuff like that, but you don't have to be a jerk about it. You don't have to fight about it. You don't have to have an attitude about it. You don't have to have sass about it. We can look to work together, you know? So I think there's much more success that way. Magnetar says, I saw that while working in Northern Virginia some years back. They left early to get a head start on traffic. Not saying it was 100% justifiable. I mean, I get it about like traffic and stuff like that, but if the person who's paying your salary says, "Hey, you can't leave 10 minutes early," you can't really get mad about that. I don't know. Mitch says he's looking to throw hands. And it says it was just cold and no sun. I said, Mike says, I hope they documented these interactions because HR is not there to defend you, but instead the organization. That is 100% fact. Your car says, what do you recommend people do to not get burned out when learning new programming language? That's a great, you know what, your car, I'm going to have to answer that question. All right, we're going to make another question out of this. Because that's a great question, your car. Let me set that one up. That is an amazing question. Let's do that.
Another one.
What do you recommend people do to not get burned out when learning new programming languages? All right, cool. So I think we're going to be somewhat touching on that tomorrow's premiere for my tips and tricks. But I would say that you allocate a certain amount of time every day, right? And let's say it's 30 minutes to an hour. But what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow is the strategy that I use to actually learn it, and it's to go slow. You guys know how I feel about boot camps. I don't like the term boot camps because they don't signify the true intention behind what you're trying to do. You're trying to learn, trying to get into a career. And the boot camp is trying to say, hey, you can what people for years and decades have spent years learning. We're going to give you that opportunity in 6 weeks, and you're going to be making more than they're making in their decades of career after 6 weeks. So then, when you're trying to learn all these new complex topics and syntaxes and stuff like that, and you are having trouble picking up on it, you start to get discouraged, and now you're like, well, you know what? If I spend more time and I try to go faster and stuff like that, then I'm gonna get it. And now you get more lost. So my recommendation is dedicate time every single day to practice. Like you go, like, let's say you're taking a course. Let's say you're taking a Udemy course, the 100 Days of Python, right? You're not going to get it done in 100 days. Do not expect to get it done in 100 days. Dedicate 30 minutes to an hour every day and write some code every single day. And as you're doing that, as you're writing the code, you do the project that they have on in the course, and then you go and you get some more practice. Do something on your own. What you learned, now take the time and you create your own thing. So let's say today, right? You do the first section of the course, and you do the first section of the course, and you do what do you call it? Whatever the project is. Then tomorrow, let's say you take 30 minutes to an hour. You take 30 minutes to an hour, and you do your own coding practice. Maybe you go to like a practice site, where they're giving you different challenges, and you try to solve those. And you're going to be doing a lot because you're going to get errors, right? You're going to get a lot of errors. You're going to be going on Google, going on Stack Overflow. Nowadays, we go on ChatGPT, but you're going to be spending that time to make sure that it sticks with you. You're not looking to go fast. You're looking to get a good understanding and do it well. Ask questions, join Discords, join this show, join any live stream that we're on, and ask questions. Because you also need to find a community of people who has done it before and who can help you figure it out. So it's easy because I'll tell you this, right? So many people that I started learning different coding languages, applications. I started learning different coding languages, different applications, and then I kept going, and they fell off. They were not consistent. We had the video last week about consistency. Right? Setting that dedication to, I'm going to spend this much time on a daily basis. Some people, they'll try to do 5 hours in one day and then they'll come back for like 2 months. That's not going to work. I'm going to do, if I can allocate 30 minutes a day, then I'm going to do 30 minutes a day at least. If it's set a schedule, do the work and take it slowly. Make sure you're learning it, make sure you're practicing, and then start building something on your own. It could be the most smallest project ever, right? But start building something on your own. They want you to go fast so that they can get their money fast. But then after you're done, how many people have graduated from a boot camp, right? And a year, 2 years later, after 7,252 and a half applications, they still can't find a job. They can't even get an interview, for crying out loud. So that's why I say learn. Like, I'll tell you this. Telltale. He's learning Python, and one of the I think it's Python he's learning, right? And then he said, I'm going to create a project on Azure where I'm going to do something with I think it's something with Spotify API. And he made his first API call the other day, and I was like, that's awesome. And take your time, continue to learn, continue to grind, but don't try to go at the false pace that the boot camp is trying to have you go at, because it's not going to help you. You're not going to remember anything. Get it done right. So that's my recommendation on how not to get burned out. Go slowly, and Google is your friend. Stack Overflow is your friend. You get an error, search it with error. I'm gonna go way more in depth in this tomorrow and show you how I do it. So you definitely want to tune into that. But that is the 5-minute response that I have for that question. Great question, your card. Great question, your card. Alrighty then. So let me drop the call-in link in the chat in case anybody wants to call in. And Telltale says Python's been fun, not gonna lie. So Nene, you see that? Telltale says that Python has been fun. So we have a testimonial about Python right now. All right, let me check what else we got in the chat. Let's see. Magnetar says the bosses left early too. Well, if the bosses left early, how do they know? I mean, what we used to do is as soon as the boss leaves, we give it like 2 minutes just so they see us in the parking lot following up behind them. And then then we left, right? Back in the days. We don't do that anymore, right? Let's see. It says, what's the difference between learning courses on Udemy alone versus having someone like you to guide while going through those courses? I will, I'm gonna answer it. I'm gonna start that one for now, and then I'm gonna come back because that's a great question as well. Although I don't see hold on. Oh, there it goes. I'm going to come back to that one, but that's a great question. We'll definitely read it. I'll definitely answer that one. Let me see. And Tesla says, you are spot on with the boot camp part. I've seen so many people who go through, but I took a boot camp and then it's like, but I can't find anything, Let's see. Magnetar says, I was in a boot camp hosted by Savvy. The VA paid for it. I didn't do too well. Oh my goodness. So was it, all right, Magnetar, was it you or was it the boot camp? I'm just messing with you. All right. So let me get to another question, then I'll come back to your cars question. Let's go to, that's gonna be a good question. So let's do that.
Another one.
What are the pros and cons of unit tests? What percentage of components should have unit tests? All right. So it says, we're trying to decide how much emphasis to place on creating unit tests. Okay. What are the pros and cons of unit tests? Are you Wait, what? This is a serious question here? What percentage of components should have unit tests? Any insight would be greatly appreciated. All right. So I'm going to start off with saying this. What percentage of components should have unit tests? I'm going to start off with a default of 100%. And then from that 100%, whatever can't be unit tested, then it starts to go down to like 99.9%, 99.8%, and so forth, right? It is possible that you might not get every single instance, but your goal should be 100%. We should aim, like our goal, like, and I know, we should get 80% of this tested and 80% of that tested. Well, here's a question, right? Do you want 20% of your application to not work? So that's why for me, I'm like, our bar should be set at 100, and then we should always aim for 100, and then we settle with as close as we can get to it. It's like saying, what should your free throw percentage be? Well, I want it to be 100%. It might not be 100%, but I want it to be 100%. What's the percentage of patients do you want to have like a good review from? I mean, I would want it to be 100%. It might not, and most likely it won't be, but I'm going to aim for 100, right? I'm going to aim for perfection and then settle with being like 0.1% below that, So that's how I start with this question. So what are the pros and cons of unit tests? Well, the pros are that the pros of a unit test is that you get to test the smallest unit of code of development very fast, very quickly, very early, over and over and over again. And if you are doing the right thing and you're doing test-driven development, it is going to help you write better code. Another pro of unit tests is that when it's implemented into your CI/CD pipeline, if you have, it's a regression test that if you have like 100 unit tests that were all passing, and then you introduce some new code and then you run it, and then now this code that's like this test that were passing from the very beginning, they're failing now, then Houston, we have a problem. But if you don't have unit tests, how will you ever know until it goes into like QA and API tests? The further away the defect gets from the code, the more expensive it is. And guess what? If if your code gets too expensive, the business looks how to reduce that cost. And then they might, you know what, maybe we should find somebody who writes unit tests to keep the cost down. So now the cons of unit tests. The cons is developers don't like writing unit tests. Why do we have to write tests? Well, because you want your application to work. So to me personally, I don't really see cons of writing unit tests. Now, might be some things that you might not be able to test very, very rarely. You should always start off with the mindset of, I can test this. And then the code or the development has to prove me wrong. All right. So how much emphasis should you place on creating unit tests? It should be of the utmost priority. Some software engineers who's been doing it for a very long time, they'll come from the mindset of, you should not write any code until you have your first failing test. And then you write code to make your test pass. I like that mindset, and I try. You know, I'm still getting better at software development. My QA developments, my QA testing, my QA development, my QA automation, those are pretty much on point. I can figure out any automation, but I'm still getting better. I'm still getting better at the software development part, right? And unit tests are important. Like it's the utmost. It's the most important thing. We're gonna have to share the screen. We're gonna have to share the screen real quick. All right. So let me see. Where is my browser? We're gonna do this. So we're going to look at the software testing pyramid. And we're gonna let's go to this one. All right, so let's take a look at this real quick, right? All right, software testing pyramid. So, at the bottom of the pyramid, the foundation of the pyramid is unit tests, right? They should run quickly. And you should have the most of those. And then we go into our integration test, which is like our API test and stuff like that. And then the least that we have is our end-to-end test, which is our UI, Playwright, Selenium, Cypress type test, robot framework type test. Integration is where we're connecting to our database or our APIs. Unit tests is where we have the most tests. And that is the foundation. If the unit tests don't pass, we shouldn't even get to running our integration or end-to-end test. The unit test must pass before we can even build the project. We can even try to deploy the project, all right? So that is the level of emphasis that we should be placed on unit tests. It should be of the utmost priority, all right? Hopefully that helps and gives some clear insight on how important unit tests should be to every single developer. I've heard people say that, you know what, people have said, we're trying to get this live to the public so we don't have any testing. They've said it. We cannot have that mindset. Unit test or nothing, all right? We have to change that mindset, all right? With that being said, I'm gonna wrap that one up. Alrighty, so let me see what we got in the chat, and then I'm going to answer your car's question because that was a great question. Let me go to your car had said they just give you a certificate to make it seem like they are successful. That's true. I'm telling you, like after you go through all this section, like let's say even on a Udemy course, because I like Udemy, right? I recommend Udemy, but even like if you have the wrong mindset going through the course, which I've seen many people who have the wrong mindset, which they just want to go and they'll just like watch all the videos and they do a little bit of the exercises, but they just want to get to the end to say like they've watched the video, they have the concepts, and then they just want they want the certificate. All right, it's like the degrees that was in the College Dropout album with Little Jimmy, right? They just want that certificate. Oh God, here goes your car. But they just want that certificate, and it's like you can't do anything with it if you don't know what you're actually doing. That was a bit excessive this time. Okay, but yeah. So it's not about the piece of paper. It's about, can you do the work, right? So totally. Your car was clutching its pearl. I was like, what? All the components should be tested. All unit tests are important. Definitely, 100% agree with you, your car. Let me see what's going on here. All right, there you go. And Magnetar said it was probably him who was the problem with the bootcamp. I didn't do well with the coding. It was supposed to be about cybersecurity, but I did okay with setting up the network. That's awesome. I mean, I think. By the way, what do you do, Magnetar? What type of work do you do? I know you work for the government, but just curious, what type of work do you actually do for the government? What are we talking about? Telltale says, I mean, I want all my patients to stay alive. I mean, I would like that to happen. Am I going to get 100%? Probably not, but my goal is to have 100% survival rate, right? If they're my patient, I want 100% survival rate. So, oh my goodness. It's class. I love that answer. Oh, G14 classified. So he must watch your car. I think he watches the show and he sees every time you say vroom, and he's like, all right, now is the perfect time. I'm going to drive off. And I know that's what's happening. I know that's what's happening. All right. I am going to answer the question your car asked earlier. And let me do that. And go here. All right. So your car's question is, let's start that one off.
Another one.
What's the difference between learning courses on Udemy alone versus having someone like you, Tech Coach Ralph, to guide while going through those courses? So the difference is, all right, let me start the timer, right? But the difference is that when you're going through it alone, although those courses will have like some of them have Discord groups that you can join, and you can have like you can reach out to people. You don't know any of the people that, and now if you get stuck, I think it's harder to get one-on-one assistance with just going through the course alone, unless you have coded before, unless you know how to research. But if you're new, right? So I'll give an example with Nini Stone, who did the manual testing but wants to get into automation. But let's say they start with Python and they get stuck. And now they post a question in, like, let's say the Udemy question and answer thing. And now they don't get a response right away. Or if they do get a response, they don't understand the response. You're going back and forth between like messages. Or if you go into the Discord of the course and you ask a question in there, it's kind of like the same thing, that you're going to be waiting for an answer and going back and forth. And like I'm just gonna suppose and assume that it might be pretty hard to get somebody to jump on a call with you. When you have somebody who is working with you one-on-one, who's guiding you through the course, they so I mean, what I do is I'll say I have different strategies. Like some of my tech barbarians might be a bit of a knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
But I'm like, all right, so I need you to take this course, and you need to be like in this sprint, you need to have this section done of this course, right? And then I might have you present on what you learned, show what you did, show your code, things like that. So that's one strategy. Another thing that I do is, if somebody is stuck on a concept, on a syntax, I will jump on a call with them and say, all right, let's figure it out together. You can ask Alexis. Like, we've been on calls for like an hour and a half trying to going through Playwright, going through how to automate, things like that. depending on what the person's needs are, that's where I'm going to meet them at. So I've had calls like the past couple of weekends where we're trying to work through Microsoft Azure for people who are interested in DevOps and things like that. It's like, so having somebody who has done it for 20 years, who knows how to navigate the industry, who knows how to like what the trends are, who knows like what's important to focus on, because they're going to give you like the courses are going to give you like just overall general knowledge, right? But they don't know what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish, and what's the best way to accomplish it. So when you have somebody work with one-on-one, they get to know you. They know like they can see what your weaknesses are, what you need to focus on. Also, something that I do is for me, like, although you might be taking this one particular course, right? So let's take Telltale, for example. Let's say Telltale is taking a Python course, but for me, if he's only going through Python and nothing else, he's going to miss out on some things. So I'm like, all right, so we need to start at least integrating using GitHub, using Git and GitHub into, you don't have to be an expert in it, but you need to be able to start to at least push stuff to GitHub, pull stuff from GitHub, create a branch, things like that. You're interested in cloud engineering. Okay, well, let's start using some small parts of Docker. That way you can like use Docker to start something. So starting to integrate like little other aspects of things that you need to learn in what you're looking to do. So that is a difference when I'm working with somebody one-on-one versus if they're just like, oh, I'm gonna take a Udemy course for Python. I'm gonna take a Udemy course for DevOps. I'm gonna take a Udemy course for like mobile development, whatever the case is, for QA, right? All those things become very, very segmented. Where do they come together? How do they come together? How are you going to apply it in a work environment? I go through all those different things and I simulate where we have our sprints. We're using Jira, which is like what most companies use is Jira. One of my tech barbarians said, oh, you know what? Like at our company, we're using Asana for some stuff and I'm not too familiar with it. I'm like, okay, well, right there in our Scrum night, I'm like, I created a story, said, okay, well, I need you to do something in Asana and I need you to present on it in our next sprint review. All right. So finding out like what the challenges are and then building that into their workflow and their pipeline so that when you're in the work environment, when you're trying to figure something out, it's not just going to be, I need to write this code. It's going to be, well, I need to test this. I need to write this code. I need to update these stories. I need to create this defect. And just bring it all together so that you can start working now so that once you actually get on the job, it's not going to be all foreign to you because you already built that experience. You put the reps in. You went to practice. You went to practice so that once you're in the game, you can perform and not. Work is the only place that we don't practice for. We just want to show up and think we're going to be great. No, you have to, the same way you practice for everything else, whether for sports, whether for being a musician, whether for whatever it is that you do, right? Work is just another thing that you need to be prepared for, right? So great question, your car. Really, really appreciate the question. Let's wrap that one up. Alrighty then, let me go back to the chat and see what we got going on. Let's see here. All right, where are we at? Let's see. All right, so I work for the Army as a civilian. Gotcha. All right, cool. It says I deal with. All right, hold on. Not G14 classified from Rush Hour. Let's say says I'm out of the Air Force. Magnetar using mid-shirts. I'm out of the Air Force. Mitch would have said chump. Let's see. I deal with military cargo while safeguarding y'all tax dollars. Oh,
I appreciate you.
I love anybody who's protecting my tax dollars, right? Work for the Army as a civilian. And says, oh, that's why he took the offense. The Army talks as about Air Force. Let's see. Says, I hope not. Nah, but I'm at HQ level, so I would hear about it, provided it gets reported. Your card says, my sister is a sergeant major supply specialist. You might run into her if you ever go to Washington. She just came back from Poland. Shout out to your sister. We appreciate her service as well. All right, cool. Perfect. Let me drop the link in the chat. It says, no, you don't. Y'all want Mickey Pickles. Yeah. We do. All right. We do not want Trump to fire you, Magnetar. We do not want Trump to fire you. So funny. All right. Let's move on. I gotta stop giving Magnetar a hard time. Let's see. All right. What do we got next? What do we have next?
Another one.
Is LinkedIn done? Finished? Out of here? Wow. Let's see what's going on here. What's going on with LinkedIn? So it says, I see no efficient use of the platform. Wow, that's pretty harsh to say. That is pretty harsh to say. I've been on it for a while and I'm at a loss of how to use it proactively. I'm starting to believe that the site is mostly a data mining platform and a platform akin to Instagram, TikTok, fake bots, scammy recruiters, social media ego posts, memes, daily journaling from people complaining, and a huge advertising commercial. Not to mention, some people might also use it as a dating site as well. Like, hey, can I slide into your happy hour? What the?
Bruh.
Do not come.
I'm just saying. All right. So can anyone please tell me the platform's purpose, especially now when the platform is oversaturated with job seekers gaining zero traction, applications fall into the void, companies that ghost, and applicants in the hundreds to 1,000s for one job post. Total insanity. All right. Well, all right. I'm going to say that I 99% agree with what this person is saying, right? I've said that LinkedIn has a lot of issues. However, I am going to say that there is a couple of uses for LinkedIn. It's a great platform to do research on and to connect with people. Now, one of the issues that oh my God, I'm gonna get in trouble for this one. But one of the issues that I've seen with LinkedIn when it comes to people who attended boot camps, and if you've attended a boot camp and you have done this, please let me know that you've done this, right? But the people who have attended boot camps and now they're in the same, what they call a cohort, right? In the same cohort, they all end up friending each other in the boot camp, and they friend each other. So now it's just a bunch of people who are all looking for the same job, who are connected with one another, and they are all cheering each other on while trying to kill each other for the same damn job. All right, maybe I'm exaggerating on the level of violence, but they all do want the same job. And they all also want that remote job. And I'm like, well, you're not going to get a remote job for a manual QA tester, not only because the manual QA tester job does not exist, they definitely don't exist as a remote role as well. So that is a problem that I have seen. And that's different type of flow. I say, if you're going to be connecting with people, look to connect with people who have actually done something, they've made it. The next thing that I would say is here's how it's useful. it's useful in the way that you can actually research what people who have been in the industry. So I have a video in the Patreon on how I use LinkedIn and how I help people that I'm coaching use LinkedIn to find valid connections, not just any random person who took a boot camp, but, and I'm going to give you a little bit of the strategy, right? Not going to give too much, but I tell them, all right, find a top company. If you're interested in being a software engineer, find a top company and let's go with like a Netflix, right? And you go to the Netflix and you see, all right, search for the software engineers and see what it is that they have on their profile. Where did they work at before? What type of work do they do? What department that they're in, so that you can have a silent mentor. Like they don't know that they're mentoring you, but you're following in their footsteps to see what did they do? How did they get to where they're at? What was their career path? You can do that for Netflix, you can do that for Amazon, all that stuff. I also say use it to, professionally stalk recruiters. See, like, you befriend the recruiter for a long time, and then you see as these job openings start to come up, and and you can have a conversation like, hey, I see that like, what do you got? Like let's say you message a recruiter, right? You're not asking for a job. You're saying, hey, as a recruiter, what is it that you're looking for? Like what makes you decide if you're going to respond to somebody or if you're going to contact somebody? And you message a bunch of recruiters until somebody befriends you and gets back at you. It's like they respond to you. The other thing that you can use LinkedIn for is researching these jobs, right? So it's possible that not many people actually are, like, not many companies or recruiters are responding based on the LinkedIn jobs. But what I like to do with it is I like to see, all right, what are the details of this job posting, and see, all right, if I'm interested in this job, where do my skills line up with that job? Where do my skills line up with this job? And if I'm lacking something, okay, I know what I need to work on, and it's a great research tool. So for me, that's how I see the use for LinkedIn. You are 100% right with many of the things that you said about LinkedIn. I get all these annoying advertisements and see all the complaints that people are doing, and it's like, cry me a river, right? It's like the Facebook for jobs. It's annoying. I get it. But if you look for those particular type of things, I think it will be a lot more helpful if you just ignore the noise. I also use it for content. I'll be honest, I use it for content. What is going on out there? But yeah, I use it for content. Something's going. What's going on out there? Hold on a second. Okay, that's a ambulance that's driving down the street. So yeah, that's so weird. All right. All right, let's wrap that one up. It's crazy out here. This is supposed to be a quiet neighborhood. All right. It said go check. Just, oh, are you crazy? I hear police sounds outside. I'm gonna go outside. Nope. Nope, not happening. Not happening. They out there to get you. Yeah, too funny. All right, let me see what we got in the chat. Are we gonna have story time? All right, hold on. I don't want to go to the unemployment line. Alexis, I have a LinkedIn weirdo story. Let's see. Care to shit. Says Ralph knows, but maybe he'll want to share. If not, I'll share next time. I don't. All right. All right. I'm not gonna share the whole story because I would love for Alexis to come share her own weirdo LinkedIn story. But I'll just say that. Alexis reached out to somebody for a job, and the person was weird. All right, we'll go with that. The person was very, very weird in their interaction. But they I don't know. They had a. It's like they wanted more than a giving information about the prospective job that was open. So, but I will leave it to Alexis to share her own story. If she wants to call in on Thursday and share the story, by all means, it's up to her. But I would not be able to tell the story as good as she'll tell the story, right? So, and Alexis, you don't have to be on camera, but I do want you to be the one to share the story, not me. I can't share the story for you. Says, I wrote a rap about snitching. I'm going to post it in the Discord. That is awesome. See, look. Magnetar, I am coming out with an AI album about my greatest AI songs. It's gonna tell a story. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. Yakar and Alexis can't wait for it to come out. But yeah. Yakar, you gotta put the ninja emoji though. You gotta put the ninja emoji, okay? Oh my goodness. Y'all crazy. Y'all are crazy. What if we remember to spread the ashes after the cremation? That's crazy. That was crazy. All right. Let me see. Let's move on. We got two more questions tonight. Let me see if I missed any other chats though. Nope, that was everything. All right, cool. Let's get to our next question of the night.
Another one.
What's the difference between a QA manager and a QA lead? What's the difference between the two and the similarities? So, let's start a timer on that one. So, the similarities is that they are both higher levels, but that's honestly, I mean, they're both in a leadership role, right? But the difference between QA manager and QA lead is that a QA manager is the one who is like the managerial role. So it's like responsible for a group of QA people. So they are the ones who are doing like the one-on-ones. They're the ones who are doing the salary stuff, and the ones who are doing the yearly reviews and the like whatever reviews that you have, right? If it's 2 times a year, if it's yearly, all of that stuff, giving you feedback, setting the vision, setting goals for you, all that stuff, right? The QA lead is usually an individual contributor role, right? So you can have like a senior QA manager, and then you can have a QA lead, which is different, where they are still more heavily embedded on the team. They might be like over a team, like leading 2 teams, but from a technical perspective. From a higher vision perspective, like, all right, we're going to be implementing this framework. I'm going to be guiding on the more technical aspect, while the QA manager is guiding more on the business aspect. And so that's the main difference between the two. The QA lead is going to might be developing new ideas, testing out new softwares and technologies that are coming out for QA, like going into like setting up pipelines. One of the QA leads that I work with, they created the whole application to and embedded it through GitHub, and and AWS instances where they are checking like the code coverage of our API tests and other type of tests that we have, GraphQL tests. So it's more of a individual role but you're contributing to the overall quality of the organization, while the QA manager role is more of guiding like the QA, the members of the QA team, you know. So those are the stark differences. You can have a QA manager like who is technical, but they prefer going the managerial route because it's possible that usually in management you make more money than individual contributors. So that's why somebody like some people, they want to manage people. They don't want to go like, they don't want to be heads down in the code and in the work. I personally am a fan of like, you guys see me writing code every single show, every day except for Tuesdays we're writing code, right? And I write code in the morning when I'm like, and I write code at work. I love figuring out problems. Me having to approve people's personal time off, not so much. I don't like all the overhead and stuff like that. So that's why I've done it before, having to do yearly annual reviews. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a dread. But if you give me a problem to solve, then I will figure it out. I will write code like there is no tomorrow. And you know, it's really a personal preference. Somebody that I worked with, they were a manager for a while, but they just preferred the individual contributor role and like being able to contribute to the code and solving problems, stuff like that. So it's honestly, at the end of the day, it's what is your style? What are your goals? You know, there's no right or wrong choice. It's what are you going to be the most effective at? What is not going to drive you crazy? And for me, like being able to figure out code and being able to contribute and build my own stuff, you know. Yeah, I mean that's pretty much the difference between the two. It's a different pathway, different career paths. Some companies might have it as like some companies they might have a QA lead actually managing people, but I don't think that it should be that way. I think it's Netflix. It's a Netflix. There's a company who publishes like their definition of roles. I'll have to find it to see which company. It might not be Netflix. I forgot who it was, but I'll find it for another show. But they publish what they see, like the manager role, the senior manager role, the director role, what the lead role is, the principal role, the staff role. So usually when it comes to the individual contributor route, you have senior, then you have lead, then you have staff or principal. Either staff and then principal, or principal then staff. I forgot exactly which order it goes in, but those are more individual contributors. For the managerial side of things, you have like a manager, a senior manager. You'll have possibly a director, and then you have, I think maybe either senior director and then VP, something like that. Those are the roles that it goes in. Now, the troubling part is, in the managerial role, you can have like 5, 10, 15, 20 QA engineers from 1, 2, 3, senior, whatever, right? There's going to be less seniors, and there's going to be like QA 1, 2, and 3, right? But then once you start getting into manager, the opportunities to become a manager it gets limited, because you can't have like 20 managers all being a QA manager. But as you learn and as you grow, while there's not going to be 20 leads, you'll probably be able to have more leads than you have managers, right? Because it's more about your experience, your seniority for the individual, and the type of work that you do for the individual contributor route, right? So you got to keep that in mind. But it's, at the end of the day, it's what career path that you want to go down, and that's the one that you follow. All right. So that is that one. That was a great question. Great question. Let's wrap that one up. All right, let me check the chat, and then we will go to the last question. I think we actually went longer than we normally do because we had the stream get cut off. Let me get some water, though. I don't know how some people can stream for hours and hours and not get a sip of water. Uh-oh. We got Rod Brown calling in. Let me answer, and then I will. He is all right. So Rod Brown is in the back. I'm gonna go through the chat, and then I'm gonna bring Rod Brown up, and then we're gonna have a conversation. Let me see. Let's see. So we got me Mystify in the building. Says good evening, chat. Says good evening, Ralph, your car, Alexis, and the chat. Hope all is well. Thank you. Thank you very much for my first super chat, super sticker. Shout out to you, me Mystify. You do a lot of amazing content, and I'm so happy to see you. I think it was like it had to be earlier this year when we were talking about, oh man, how things are going, and I'm like, just think about it a different way. And now you are doing great things. So I am so excited to see your growth. All right, let me bring my guy Rod Brown up to the stage. I'm gonna go to this and let me get my headphones out too. Where's my headphones? Because I'm not trying to get a whole echo happening over here. Let me change. Make sure. And all right, cool. All right, let me bring Rod Brown up. Where is it? And we got what's good, Rod Brown?
What's going on? How you doing this evening?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. Had a great day at work. Not too bad, man.
Nice. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah.
So what's on your mind tonight?
So, I have a fun question tonight.
All right.
In the spirit of Christmas, and I know this is a tech show, I wanted to ask you, which this would be a fun question. What should be on every techie's Christmas list?
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's a tough question because also as a content creator, I've been watching this microphone for the past 4 months, and although it went through Black Friday sale, it went to a limited time sale, and the price stayed the same exactly throughout. It's like they just changed the tag, but it's not on sale.
Yeah, it's definitely not on sale.
But if I had to choose something for a techie, I would say a Stream Deck. I mean, I have a Stream Deck, and the thing is, like, you can do so much more with the Stream Deck than just like for controlling an actual like live stream and whatever, because it's really just macros where you can program to like open apps and run commands, and like it just facilitates so many different things.
Right.
So just like looking right here, a Stream Deck. I mean, depending on your budget, but if you can get a new like MacBook, then that's a whole nother story. Get one of those M4s, that's another story.
That was honestly going to be my answer. It was the top of the list is probably a laptop. Like, of course, if you can get a serviceable laptop to do what you need to do in order to, be in the tech world or, do a boot camp or whatever the case may be. But, higher end will probably be that MacBook. But I would say at least if you're trying to enter the tech particular space, I'd say laptop is like number one.
I mean, the reason I didn't go with laptop is I assume most people already have a laptop. Now, the quality of that laptop, that's debatable. That's debatable, the quality.
Yeah.
But yeah, but like if you're an actual techie already, you probably have a decent laptop. Now it's now like, all right, what's gonna make me efficient? And I'm like, because I was debating, like, man, I should get a second Stream Deck for my other desk to so one of the things that annoys me is like when I'm on Zoom and I have to find where the mute like I have to find where to mute, right?
Yeah.
Where when I was using this Stream Deck, and I would be on Zoom, I just had a button to mute, right, from the Stream Deck and control it. Like so, whatever screen I'm on, I'm able to go back and forth with it.
Hmm.
But I mean, it just depends like what part of tech. Because like let's say you're into graphic designs,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And then I'll probably say, well, if I would like a year of Adobe Creative Suite,
Mm.
So it depends on what part of it that you're in,
Yeah. Yeah. It honestly does depend. Even for that particular answer, I would say, uh, I'd say maybe an iPad, even if you were like a designer, because you could
True.
potentially use
iPad
you
Pro with
could,
the pen.
yeah, with the pen that could potentially go. But yeah, I never thought about that. Paying for somebody to have Adobe Creative Suite, because you could do a lot with a Creative Suite. You could do a lot. You know, I test them for me. I'm
You
learning
use
how
it,
to do.
yeah, you use
Yeah,
it, don't you?
I'm using it. I'm learning how to do Premiere. So I mean, it's usable for everybody. But I never thought about the Stream Deck as well. I gotta get into that too. So,
Yeah, it
but
just
yeah, uh,
it facilitates a lot. Like I have it here. I'm just like pressing buttons and
mhm,
switching scenes and stuff like that.
right.
And they have like where you're using. So let's say you're writing code.
Hmm.
Um, you could like I'm pretty sure there's some buttons you can program for it to do certain shortcuts that you normally do. You know, but yeah, that's
Yeah,
one of the things out. I mean, there's probably a bunch of. I would have to check my Amazon cart.
right. Yeah. Listen, my Amazon cart is always is either the Amazon cart or the save for later. It's always filled with stuff. I don't know why. Just stuff is just there. but
Let me
but
see.
I always thought that was interesting. With us, being a group full of techies, like what would be on the wish list to get, you know?
I wonder what your car thinks. Your car, let me drop in the chat. What would be on your wish list as a techie?
Mhm. I actually want to know what Mitch thinks because I feel like he's the number one techie, so he would know.
I don't think anybody believes Mitch is the number
Listen,
one techie.
listen, I'm just trying to keep a straight face, all right? Come on.
I don't know. Mitch has been quiet tonight,
Mm.
but so what would you pick? I know you said the laptop. But what if you already have like a good laptop? You're already a techie.
Is it personally for me or is it just overall?
Let's say personal, and then we'll do both.
Mm, okay. So personally, I'd say you probably know why. It'd be a mirrorless camera.
Yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
It'd be a mirrorless camera. For particular reasons. But I would say across the board, outside of a laptop, honestly, you can't go wrong with a desktop. Like a nice solid, like custom built desktop.
Yeah, could see
Yeah,
that.
I
Or
see
Mac
that. Yeah,
Studio.
yeah. It's either it just depends on if you want to go mobile or you want to have something that's a powerhouse workhorse to be in your particular home or your in particular studio, for you to do your writing, your coding, your programs all up this, that, and the third. So it just depends if you want to be mobile or you know at home. So
Yeah, I can't stay in one spot.
oh come on, your car.
But he's. Um, I mean, we did go over. Like, all right. To be fair,
Oh,
we
your
did go
car.
over. We did go over. Many people saying that they were depressed from making mistakes and crying in their car for
Mhm.
having a bad attitude at work and stuff like that, and being threatened to fired. So maybe a massage gift card would get them better in a better mindset to be able to not feeling all depressed at work.
Yeah, but that's just for an hour though.
That's true. That is true.
That's just for an hour. Come on. And you're done with that hour and then you're right back in the same place that you were before.
And that is the reason that I know a lot of people are like, oh, we should like they like experiences. I'm
Mhm.
not the most crazy about experiences because after they're done, I'm like, all right, that was cool. I'm like,
Right,
but
right.
if I have my stream deck over here, I use it every single day.
You got it every day. It's sitting right here. You can't do anything about that.
I have all these keyboards that I got to get rid of, and like I experiment with a lot of things.
Mm. Yeah, but yeah, it was just a fun question since the show
Good, yeah.
is before the holidays, and just in case anybody wanted to get some last minute gifts for your favorite techie in the world. So
I hear that.
yeah,
Just remember next week is Christmas Eve. Oh, gotta
next
figure out what
week is
we're gonna do.
Christmas Eve.
Gotta figure that out. Anyhow, you got any plans for Christmas?
Yeah, probably gonna head back to my hometown on Christmas Day. Want my son to experience his first Christmas here at home, so let him do all the, you know, ripping the ripping of stuff and playing here at the house, and then we'll probably go and visit our family. So, um,
About 4 hours
yeah,
away, you
that's
said the drive is?
tops 3. Not too
Not
bad.
bad. Not bad.
Not too bad. So,
Cool. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I got a call in about 30 minutes anyway, so good to see you. We're looking forward to the new year. Big things happening. I don't know if you want to give any preview, but it's up to you.
no, I just I wanted to say I appreciate your wife doing that edited video. I did have that up today, so that looked pretty
Saw that.
good. And still working on stuff for the new year. I'll let everybody in the chat know, and hopefully they can support me in my new endeavors and stuff like that on my content creation endeavors. So I would
Nice.
and your car, we're definitely going to
Let's
talk
get it.
because I'm gonna talk to you about some stuff too. So
Your car is the man. I always have
yeah,
to give your car his props because he does it all. So
he does it all, man. Jack of all trades.
cool.
That's
All
it.
right,
So
we're gonna get out of here.
all right,
I'm gonna wrap up the show and we'll talk later.
see y'all.
Later. Well, that was Rod Brown calling in. Appreciate Rod Brown calling in every all the time. One of my favorite people. And Magnetar says, from making mistakes, or was it because the reprimand due to mistake? So one person was from having a bad attitude and leaving early. The other person was, I think it was more from the mistake because everyone was like, everyone makes mistakes, don't worry about it. But they were still like really, really hard on themselves. So, it is what it is. Everybody makes mistakes. Like I said earlier, you can't look backwards. You have to look forward and learn from your mistakes, put processes in place so that we can catch those mistakes. But looking at the past is only going to make you feel miserable, right? But yeah, that's it for tonight. That is it for tonight. Hopefully you guys had a good time. The question that I have for you is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
I had an amazing time. Hopefully you did as well. Remember, we're going to be going live tomorrow morning, Coffee and Kata. Then we have the premiere of the tips and tricks that I use to learn to code and how it can hopefully help you. And then we're going to be going live again on Thursday night to continue working on our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data. All right. But yeah, you guys know yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price because
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
the price of the brick is going up, and because my favorite nurse is in the building tonight, we're gonna end it with this song tonight. We're gonna end it with this, all right?
Roxy on the scrubs, always shining bright. Caring hands and a heart, bringing hope to the night. She's a beacon of joy when she's in the room, healing the world, turning sorrow to gloom. Roxy, our hero, we sing your name. Oh. spirit won't tire. Oh, Roxy, we celebrate you today. With love and support, you lead the way. In every heartbeat, we lift you up strong. Your caring nature is where we belong. Always in our hero, we sing your name, we cheer. In every moment, you are always near. Oh, Roxy, we celebrate you today. You lead the way. With every heartbeat, we lift you up strong. Your caring nature is where we belong. With every heartbeat, we lift you up strong. Your caring nature is where we belong. To Roxy, our strength, forever we cheer. In every moment, you are always near. Oh, Roxy, we celebrate you today. Love and support, you lead the way. In every heartbeat, we lift you up strong. Your caring nature is where we belong. Your caring nature is where we belong. To Roxy, our strength, forever we cheer. In every moment, you are always near. To Roxy, our strength, forever we cheer. In every moment, you are always near. You lead the way. You lead the way.
Tech coach Ralph, tough as nails, no disguise. Pushing limits, yeah, he's that kind of guy. At first it's harsh, the rules feel like chains. But trust the process, there's sunshine in the rains. He cracks the whip, but it's all in love. Results shining bright like stars above. Tech coach Ralph, you light the way. Through sweat and tears, you help us play. With every lesson, we find our might. From morning grind to the stars at night. Days turn to weeks, skills sharp and fast. What once was a struggle now feels like a blast. Step by step, we rise and we glow. With Ralph in our corner, we're ready to show. Singing his praises, can't keep it inside. From hard ass to hero, he's our pride. Tech coach Ralph, you light the way. Through sweat and tears, you help us play. With every lesson, we find our might. From morning grind to the stars at night. So here's to Ralph, the coach we need in this game of growth. He plants the seed. So here's to Ralph, the coach we need in this game of growth. He plants the seed.
Like, we just show up and grind all day. Only results matter anyway. Eyes straight forward, no time to play. Block out the noise, let nothing sway. We don't care what others pursue. Our focus sharp, our goal so true. Their distractions ain't got a clue. We just win, that's what we do. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. We don't care what others pursue. Our focus sharp, our goal so true. Their distractions ain't got a clue. We just win, that's what we do. Turn it up on the victory ride. We got heart and we got pride. Let the doubters run and hide. We're the force they can't deny. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Keep your eyes on the finish line. No looking back, no wasting time. We climb the ranks, we shine and shine. Success is drawn like a fine line. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot. Step by step we reach the top. We'll keep going, we won't stop. Watch us rise, see jaws drop. When we win, we own the lot.